Hello and welcome to the 2022 edition of our Best Cloud Storage list. My name is Marcio and this is the CloudWorks channel. Today I'll be guiding you through the best that cloud storage has to offer in our annual Best Cloud Storage Roundup. We update this list every year with the latest information, so stick around for all the updates on the top cloud storage providers today. If you want to get the latest news on cloud storage, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever we release a new video. By now, our team of experts at CloudWorks has over a decade of experience in reviewing cloud storage, so we hope to give you the best possible picture of the cloud storage landscape. Now, full disclosure, we do have affiliate relationships with some of the providers on this list, but our opinions are our own. We're not sponsored by the providers on this list, and we test the services independently, so we try to be as unbiased and objective as we can be. Now, buckle up and let's just jump right into it, shall we? Cloud storage isn't the most complicated thing in the world. It really only needs to do a couple of things well. It needs to store your files and keep them secure, sync them across all your devices for remote access, and let you share your files. But how a service does these things and what extra goodies it adds makes all the difference. Of course, price is also a factor to consider, especially when you are on a budget. Now, I want to preface this with a little note on whether you need cloud storage at all. So if you're definitely sure that you need a cloud storage service, feel free to skip straight to the list using the timestamps in the description or the seek bar on YouTube. But anyway, first I want to say that cloud storage is not for everyone. Not everyone needs cloud storage. Whether you should use cloud storage at all is really going to depend on your needs. So if you need to back up a lot of files and don't plan on touching them for a long time, you'll probably be better off going with an online backup service instead. For example, Backblaze gives you unlimited backup space, and that's something that cloud storage services just don't really do, at least not personal cloud solutions. If you want the quick access that cloud storage gets you, but you also need unlimited storage, well, only business cloud services can get you that. However, those usually have a minimum number of users. So for example, you get sync.com Teams, you'll have to pay for 2 users, and Dropbox Business will leave you paying for at least 3 users to get that unlimited storage. Another thing is that this video will mostly be about personal cloud storage. If you need to collaborate with other people or have a small team of 5 to 10 people, a lot of these services on this list have plans for small businesses, and some even let you upgrade to an enterprise version that can cover hundreds or even thousands of users. But if you're still sure that cloud storage is what you need, you also need to consider your payment options. Most cloud services will let you pay either a monthly or a yearly fee, with a yearly plan almost always getting you better value. And remember, cloud storage is something you don't want to switch very often, or at all really, because it can be a real pain to move all your files from one service to another. Believe me, I've done that, never want to do it again. But you might not even want to pay for storage if all you need is to store some documents. In that case, you might just as well get a free Google Drive account and dump your documents there. And if you're dead set on a particular service, you might also be able to get a lifetime plan, though only iStrive and pCloud offer them as a standard. We have a video comparing those two that you can watch right here in the card above, but you really have to make sure you trust the service enough before you take the plunge with a lifetime deal. So we recommend always trying a free plan or a monthly subscription first before going all in with a lifetime plan. Of course, there's always more to consider, but we'll tackle those points as they come up in the video. But with that out of the way, let's take a look at our number 1 choice, sync.com for 2022. So, sync.com has been our number 1 recommendation for a while now, and it's my personal recommendation for people who are new to cloud storage. And really, the service has only gotten better with time, but let's start with the basics. Sync.com is probably the most secure cloud storage service, at least for personal use, and your entire storage is covered by zero-knowledge encryption. This is essentially the gold standard for cloud storage security because it means that no one but you can see your files, not even sync.com. It also stores your files in Canada, unlike most of the bigger players that store data in the US. This is pretty important for privacy, as the US isn't exactly known for its data privacy laws. Apart from that, you also get versioning for up to 365 days, which just basically lets you recover a file you deleted or changed from a year ago. Trust me, if you work a lot with documents, you'll be glad to have that feature. And if you need to collaborate and share files, sync.com is one of the best services for that. There are a lot of granular controls for who can see and edit shared files, who can contribute to folders, etc., and you get a lot of that for free. Dropbox, for example, makes you pay for any kind of sharing control. The major downside with the free plan is that you can only have 3 active sharing links at any given time, though you still get password protection and end-to-end encryption for those links. But most impressive to me is one recent change they added in 2021, and that's Microsoft Office integration. Sync.com now lets you create and edit Office documents online, and this includes Word, Excel, and PowerPoint files. You can also collaborate on these files with other Sync.com users. Now, to actually edit documents, you'll need to upgrade to a paid plan, and that brings us to the point of pricing. Sync.com is one of the most affordable cloud services out there. You get a pretty impressive 2 terabytes of storage for just $8 a month. Plus, it also offers the only affordable unlimited cloud storage via the Sync.com Teams plans. You only need to pay for 2 users to get it at $15 per user per month. If you want to pay for it by yourself, it'll only run you $30 per month. But you can also split the bill with a friend or a family member, since you get 2 user accounts for the price anyway. Sync.com's free plan is just 5 gigabytes, which isn't a lot, but it's enough to try out the service, and you can watch our full Sync.com review right here to help make up your mind. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows with Sync.com, of course. To start, the service is pretty slow because of that zero-knowledge encryption. So if speed is really crucial to you, we wouldn't recommend Sync.com. Instead, you could go for a faster service like pCloud or Google Drive, and it's also not the best looking service, to be honest. And if you're using the latest MacBook, it might look a bit out of place, in this sleek interface of the Macintosh world. So, who is Sync.com for? Well, if data security and privacy are your #1 concerns, then look no further, because you'll be hard-pressed to find a more secure and stable service at this price point. But if you care about speed and aesthetics, well, you might want to take a look at the next service on this list. Now, depending on your needs, the top spot could really be a toss-up between Sync.com and pCloud. In my mind, the services are really close, even though they have very obvious differences, but pCloud has its own unique set of advantages. For one, it has a surprisingly capable media player. In fact, its music player even lets you make playlists and can sort your music by artist or album. But more impressive to me is the video player, which lets you change the playback speed for videos like YouTube does. I'm used to watching videos at 1.5 speed, as I'm sure a lot of you do, so this is a bit of a godsend for me. pCloud also has one feature that I personally can't live without, and that's the network drive. This essentially lets you attach your cloud storage as an extra drive on your computer. You can access that drive directly from your Windows Explorer or Mac Finder, just like it was a physical hard drive. You can just dump your files onto there and it'll upload them to the cloud. And most importantly, those files will no longer take up space on your computer. You're essentially expanding your laptop storage by 2 terabytes, the only downside being that you have to be online to access those files. But really, when are you not online these days? Another feature that I rely on a lot are upload links. Basically, pCloud lets you send a link to a folder to anyone, even people who don't use pCloud, and let them upload a file to the folder. This is really useful for collaborating with people you don't know. For example, if you're working with freelancers, you really don't want to give them access to your entire storage, so upload links are a perfect way to let them contribute without compromising your privacy. Now, like Sync.com, pCloud also keeps improving its service, and just last year it added a new backup feature. It pretty much works like any other backup service, where you choose which folders you want to back up and how often you want pCloud to back up your files. But honestly, I find this feature a bit redundant, since the network drive already does the same thing. It just syncs your files to the cloud continuously and they don't take up extra space. It was also a bit buggy in our testing, but on the other hand, it lets you back up files from other services and even Facebook, so that makes the migration a bit easier at least. pCloud is also privacy friendly. You can choose to store your files on its European service, which means you're protected by better privacy laws like GDPR. This also makes the service faster for European users. And pCloud is pretty darn fast. It's one of the fastest cloud storage services we've tested, especially for downloads. If that's a core consideration for you, you really won't regret getting pCloud. Price-wise, it's around the same price as sync.com, but there's a bit of a catch here. You don't get zero knowledge built in, and you have to pay extra for it, something like $4 a month. You also get those lifetime plans we mentioned, and you also get a choice of bundling that with the zero knowledge add-on. So if your heart is set on pCloud, it lets you pay a lump sum for permanent access to your cloud storage. There's also a 10 gigabytes free plan that you can use to try out the service before you make your choice. And you can also watch our pCloud review video right here. I've also made a deep dive, like a 45-minute deep dive that goes into details of that service. We're always happy to see movement on the cloud storage scene, and iStrive has made quite a splash for such a young service. And believe me, we're constantly bombarded with emails from new cloud services claiming to be the next best thing since sliced bread, and almost always, after a couple of months, they go bust. But iStrive has fought that uphill battle, and it seems to be well on its way to becoming a great cloud storage service. To be sure, it still has some kinks to work out, but it still makes a solid alternative if neither sync.com nor pCloud hit the sweet spot for you. Right out of the gate, iStrive simply looks gorgeous. It's clear the design team knew what they were doing, and the user experience is nice and smooth and intuitive. iStrive also has that network drive feature that I love that helps me save hard drive space. Unfortunately, it's only available for Windows, and I do most of my work on a MacBook, so it's not quite right for me, but your mileage may vary, of course. It's also super fast and got the best upload results out of all the services in our speed testing. Another thing is iStrive is really dedicated to user privacy and security. It comes with zero knowledge encryption out of the box, so you don't have to pay for it like with pCloud. Now, zero knowledge is not available on the free plan, but thankfully, iStrive has some pretty cheap cloud storage plans. It's not as cheap as those scammy services that give you, I don't know, 10 terabytes for $1 and then lose all your data, but it's really affordable enough to be worth considering. Per terabyte, it's worth about as much as pCloud. It doesn't have a 2 terabytes plan for a direct comparison, but its 1 terabyte plan costs just over $4 a month. And keep in mind, zero knowledge is included in that price. Its 10 gigabyte free plan can help you make your mind up about these services, and you can watch our review video right here. iStrive also has a lifetime plan, which are probably its best deal. However, when it comes to these long-term investments, it's probably better to go with a more experienced service. pCloud has been around for over a decade, and they're not likely to just go poof, you know? iStrive isn't exactly a toddler. It's running its 4th lap around the sun now, but it's still not quite as mature. For instance, we've been getting a lot of complaints from viewers and readers on our website that iStrive's custom support has gone to the dogs recently. They used to respond in a couple of hours tops, but as the user base has grown, iStrive hasn't really been able to scale up its support team. Let's address the big elephant in the room, the big three, and that's Dropbox, Google Drive, and OneDrive. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Dropbox. I love Google Drive. I use Google Drive every day, but it's just not something I would recommend to everyone. So why is that? Well, first, these services are not the best for privacy. It's no secret that Google and Microsoft try to extract as much data from their users as humanly possible without holding a gun to their head. And although Dropbox doesn't have that kind of reputation, it's had its fair share of security failures in the past, even as recently as 2018. And all of these services are headquartered in the United States and host your files there as well, which is another privacy concern because of the US's intrusive surveillance laws. But sometimes that trade-off is worth it. You know, Google will probably get to your data one way or the other, so you might as well make some use of its services. So which one of these services should you choose? Well, honestly, in my mind, they're pretty interchangeable and they all come with their pros and cons. Let's take a quick look at each of them so you can decide for yourself. So let's start with Google Drive. Now, honestly, our team relies heavily on Google Drive. We're a pretty busy publication. We publish over a dozen articles every day across our websites, including the CloudWorks websites, and Google Drive plays a big part in that. And that's mostly thanks to its tight integration with the Google Workspace suite, though you might remember it as G Suite. This includes Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides, which we all use to write our articles. Google Drive lets you create documents right from the cloud interface, share them with other users, set permission levels, and all sorts of other useful things that we just can't do without. And the best part is that all of this comes free. You can use all of Google's apps at no cost at all, and you get a pretty generous 15 gigabytes of free storage on Google Drive. Would I recommend the paid plans? Well, I wouldn't really only ever use Google Drive for document editing, and that's not something that consumes a lot of storage. I keep most of my data on secure services like sync.com and pCloud and advise you to do probably the same. One of the main reasons I wouldn't recommend Google Drive is because its sync client is frankly shit. It bugs out and forgets to sync files, and to make matters worse, Google decided to upgrade the sync client last year and added a network drive, but that ended up making it pretty much unusable. It's just not reliable enough for me to recommend. And if you recall from the beginning of the video, I called out file syncing as one of the core uses of a cloud service. If a service doesn't do that reliably, then it's not something I can ever recommend in good conscience. So we come to the granddaddy of cloud storage, Dropbox. This is the service that started this whole cloud storage thing, and it's pretty much the reason I have a job making videos and reviews for you guys. Would I ever use it though? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a good service. I'm a paid user, so I'm paying for it on an annual basis. It's obviously one of the most published services you could use. Polished service. Its interface is flawless. It's as easy to use as it gets. Its sync client works well, unlike Google Drive, and it's really fast as well. One thing I have against Dropbox is that it uses a sync folder to sync your files, which means you get duplicate files on your computer. Like I said, I much prefer the network drive, but Dropbox makes the pill a little easier to swallow with space-saving features like Smart Sync. You basically get to choose files or folders to make online only. They'll still appear on your computer as icons, but they won't take up space and they'll download if you click on them. It's not as elegant as a simple network drive, but it's better than nothing. To compare it to sync.com, even though it's my favorite service, it doesn't really have an answer to Dropbox Smart Syncing. It also integrates into pretty much every other kind of software you can think of. You can set up Zapier automations, and it works with both Google Workspace and Microsoft Office. The integration is obviously not as smooth as, say, Google Drive's integration with Docs, but it's nice to have the choice. You're not limited to one or the other. So who's Dropbox for? I'd say if you need all those integrations, if you have some kind of crucial software that only integrates with Dropbox, then I say go for it. It's certainly newbie friendly, pretty much grandma proof, even it really just works, and even if you don't need all the bells and whistles, well, it just works out of the box. However, it's a bit more expensive than my top choices, and remember, it's a frequent target for hackers, and some of those attacks have been successful in the past. Plus, its free plan is only 2 gigabytes and has most of the really useful features disabled, so Google Drive might be a better option for free users. OneDrive, I'd say, is a unique service. It's not the best really at anything, but it does come with a few perks. Most notably, it comes on Windows pre-installed, and it integrates well with Microsoft's ecosystem of apps, including Office. Heavy Teams users will probably benefit from OneDrive the most, but also anyone with Windows device that doesn't like installing extra cloud software, then because basically it comes pre-installed anyway. However, I wouldn't recommend using OneDrive for the same reason I just can't recommend Google Drive, and that's syncing. Judging from our testing, it just doesn't handle large files well, and lots of small files. Also, because it slows you down. You get 5 gigabytes free, and if you only need to edit Office docs, that should serve you decently. But I wouldn't bother upgrading to the paid plans unless you're absolutely bent on going all in on Microsoft. It doesn't have the best security either. In fact, up until a couple of years ago, I didn't have any kind of encryption whatsoever, and that speaks a lot to its dedication to privacy. So if you need that Office integration, I'd strongly urge you to go for sync.com or even Dropbox if you need a faster service. And that's the end of our best cloud storage roundup. You can find all our testing data and our individual reviews on our channel, or you can head on over to our website where we do detailed written reviews. You'll find links to all the reviews in the description below, as well as a full written version of this list. We'll also link to our massive cloud storage comparison article, so you'll be fully equipped to make the best possible decision for your money. If you enjoyed this video, and I really hope you did because it's a lot of work and my team works a lot, thank you very much. It really helps us to support the channel if you hit the thumbs up button, the bell icon to subscribe to this channel, all the things that you need to do to be updated here on CloudWords, and also feel free to drop us a comment about which service you choose and any issues you've had with my recommendations, or if you just want to tell us that we did a good job, or a bad one for that matter. Our team always reads your comments, and even though we can't get all of them answered, we do take your feedback into account. So I'd really appreciate anything you have to say. See you in the next video, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.